back to another episode of HR Unlock the podcast. Welcome to work. We're so happy to have you. I'm AJ.
I'm Abby.
And this is Tyler. Tyler's our guest for today, guest host. Tyler, welcome.
Thank you.
So we all work in HR, obviously. I mean, I would hope. We all work in supply chain. And a little bit about Tyler. He's been working in HR for about 10 years. He's a veteran. Thank you so much for your service.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
I really want to know about HR and the military. Yeah.
What branch of the military did you?
The Army.
Oh, okay. That's amazing.
It has to be some stuff, some stories.
No, I'm sure.
We won't get
Interesting things, probably.
Very.
Yeah. Tough things,
Yeah.
but
So, Tyler, he got his bachelor's in HR, and then he got his MBA from LSU. Go Tigers, I guess.
Go Tigers.
Yeah.
Roll Tide. Roll Eagle. What do you?
we're Roll Tide. I went to Alabama.
Roll Eagle.
Oh,
Roll Eagle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll Tide. So yeah, Tyler, welcome to HR Unlock the podcast.
thank you.
We're super excited to have you. So I met Tyler at a SHRM event, B SHRM, shout out to B SHRM. And we just kind of got to talking. We were both from Mobile, and we found some common interests. So I said, you know what? Evan and I was talking, you're ready for the episode. I said, we should invite Tyler on. So here he is.
Well,
I got a story. Tyler, so sometimes we're a little petty sometimes. And a lot of stuff happen in HR, as you can imagine, being in supply chain. So I got a story that happened last week. It's a good one. So get ready. All right. So we have an employee, a female employee, who's dating. He's always somebody dating a male employee. Well, there's another female employee who is also dating this male employee.
Oh, man.
boy.
So actually he's in a relationship with one. We'll call her Beth. So, and we'll call the guy James. So James is in a relationship with Beth.
Okay.
Like they've been together for months.
Okay.
But James also in a relationship with
Susie.
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 So Susie finds out about James and Beth. Susie goes to James' house and finds Beth in the bed.
Oh, no. Oh,
So,
are you sure this is an episode of Cheaters?
no, I'm sure.
This is great.
So Susie comes to HR and says, this is what happened. Now she's spreading rumors that I have sex with any man.
Wow.
And she wants us to do something about it.
Oh, that's not within your jurisdiction. That's what you have to say.
What do you think, Tyler? I mean, if that comes to you, like, what do you think? What do you do?
That's a real question that you just. I don't know what I expected you to.
Yeah.
A situation like that.
But there's no proof, right? That she's actually saying these things
Nope.
negatively about her. It's not affecting her work ethic.
I mean, you have to get statements though, correct? I mean, like from everybody involved, like the accused and the accuser. I mean, that would probably be
that's standard language
Yeah.
from investigation perspective.
yeah.
But like, is there anything to really investigate? I mean, that's happening outside of work.
Right.
The only thing is the rumors. If she's spreading like mess, maybe. But that's hard to.
I mean, stuff like that is hard to corroborate because it's like
Exactly.
it's really he say she say. Because I mean, like I've tried to explain this to someone before, where it's kind of like if someone says that someone said something, and that person says I didn't say that,
Right.
whose word is more valuable or
Right.
whose word is seen as more true.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
Well, especially when so much of this is happening outside of work.
Yeah.
That's why I said it doesn't cover our jurisdiction.
Right.
Unfortunately, not to say that we don't feel like EAP exists. If you have, some struggles, we're happy to provide you with this. You can speak to somebody, but I really think that HR shouldn't be involved in this.
It shouldn't
It's
be.
a personal matter.
Yeah.
And it's tough though, because I'm sure she's coming to you emotional and upset and you know them and you probably are like, wow, this was happening. So it's also probably a little bit of a shock to you, but ultimately I think it's better to wash your hands of it.
Yeah. Like, thanks for letting me know. But
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
hate
kind of
that
one of those
happens.
things too, where it's like, this is one of those things in HR that's like, it gets sticky, because you want to help people.
Yep.
You want to be there for people when they need you and that person needs you in that moment. But it's kind of like there's a lot of solutions to problems that you won't even think that you need to know until this happens. So it's kind of like someone comes to you with this and you're just like, to be honest, I don't even know where to begin.
Yep.
It's not written in the policy anywhere. We didn't have any.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't have any training. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
so
But I think it's also important to keep that on as a note, like within the HR department and maybe amongst supervisors. Hey, this is something that could present itself at work. It could, I hope it doesn't, but it could turn into a fight or some type of argument. So we need to make sure we're being cognizant of what's happening.
Yep.
But all in all, you can't, some people running their mouth, like that's just not anything you can do. You know what I mean? So that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But very good story though.
You know, I always have some good ones.
Oh, you do. So I guess that leads us to our next point. Since you guys are both here today, and Alfred, we talked about this a little bit, just about statistics of the gender gap in HR. So when we looked it up, we saw that 70% of individuals working in HR are women, and only 30% are men.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I kind of want to start a discussion on that. Why do you think that is? What is y'all's experience? Yeah, let's put it all out.
Wow. So that's a really good thought. For me, it's not normal for men to be in professional settings. Really, it's not the norm. We didn't grow up saying, "Oh, I'm going to be in HR." You know, it's lawyer, doctor, police officer. But like as we grew, we supposed to have tough jobs. Men should be outside.
Right.
I don't like outside.
I understand.
I don't like to be sweaty. but this is what it is.
Right.
So when I changed my major from pharmacy to HR, while pharmacy was indoors, but it was,
Technical.
doctor, kind of the medical field.
Right.
So when I changed to HR, it's kind of like, I didn't feel that way, but that's how kind of society.
Yeah, definitely. It's
like,
definitely
why are you behind a desk?
right. And I think it's also just if we talk about helping professions, I think you see the same disparity probably in teaching and in nursing.
Yeah.
Because I think, as you mentioned, as a society, we don't we don't raise our like kids to pursue I think like if you're a child and you're like a male, you're not raised to pursue helping professions because, like you said, it's seen as you need to do something that's more tactical, more engineering approach and hands-on.
Yep.
And I also think it's about the emotional view of that a woman could be more emotional and empathetic, whereas a man can't. And in my opinion, though, and in my experience, I feel like in all the HR colleagues I've had, in terms of men, they've been great and excellent and in touch with their emotions and aware and empathetic when they need to be, professional. So I guess what is your experience with like employees? Do you feel like maybe because you're a male, employees may approach you differently? There's like a different level of openness or?
Well, I'll go back to what you were like, just to touch back on what you said. Yes, I really do think it's kind of traditionally it's seen as kind of you have to be a real people's person. You have to care about people. You have to be in tune with your emotions. A lot of people are very uneducated as to what human resources really is because a lot of times people don't necessarily see the other things. They don't see the analytical side. They don't see the data, the data side of it. Right. People only see, the Christmas parties or, the anniversary parties or retirement parties. That's the only thing they see. If someone's having an issue with someone, they see you as the mediator, which, a lot of times that takes someone being calm, someone that's not aggressive in that moment. And a lot of times that's just, that's how majority of women are seen, naturally. So it's just not common. And just like you said with the, women are viewed to, when you think of certain jobs, you kind of automatically think of women doing those jobs. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if I was in the emergency room and they say your nurse is going to be with you in a second, you automatically think a woman's coming most of the time. Just like if I was the nurse intern and they tell me my patient is coming in, they just, I don't know, had something dropped in their foot working in construction. Construction worker, I automatically think it's a man coming in. So, I mean, I think it's just one of those things that people in general just kind of they don't really grasp,
and understand the full scope, because
The
like
full-
you said,
yeah.
that is so important. HR, where one side is the people engagement and the interactions we have and being that mediator, but then there's the other analytical side of like, HR KPIs and dealing with benefits and things that aren't really people facing.
Yep.
Yes.
So yeah.
So you said how employees see us.
Mhm.
From my experience, it's been comparing to some of my female colleagues, I've got better responses from employees, and that's male and female.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the attitude comes, from the female more, but then they do a lot of flirting.
Really? That's interesting.
I had it, yeah.
That would scare. I don't know.
Yeah. So, they think they can get their way, but hello, not here.
Right. It's professional all the way. Like,
So,
doesn't make a
but
difference.
I've had really good experiences, and I think when we walk in a room,
Mhm.
it's kind of like, and I hate to say it like this, but it's got like an automatic respect almost sometimes.
Yeah.
We walk and we say something,
Mhm.
and it's like, this is what we're doing.
Yes.
And that,
And from my experience, I will tell you a lot of times, even starting new jobs, I have had situations with plant managers who will try to say, "Oh, do we really have to do this?
Yeah.
Come on, Abby, like you don't have to
Yeah.
do this."
We
and
have
try
to.
to, kind of snake their way around and see if they can, make me, do what they want to do.
Yep.
And you wonder, if I was a male, would they treat it in the same way?
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that you said that, because I think, unfortunately, we live in a sexist society where we've overcome a lot, but we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it goes both ways too, right? So it's not just like, oh, as a woman, like I'm experiencing, these situations. You being in a predominantly female or women field,
Yeah.
you're experiencing probably some of those biases too. And then there's also like maybe, like you said, those benefits of you being seen as a more strategic figure, somebody who's on an operational position and not my therapist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's something that I have to battle with too, is like I have to tell some of my employees, like, you guys, I love you all,
Yeah.
but I'm not a therapist.
Yeah.
I got payroll, I've got reporting, I have things that need to be done, and my time can't 100% be spent on
Grievances.
complaints. Yeah.
And I think Tyler would agree with this. We're looked at more of a, we have this authority presence,
Absolutely.
and people look at us differently when we're standing on stage with a mic, or we're in front of you
Right.
having a tough conversation. Like, we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention.
Right.
Where they may, if a male comes in your office,
Mhm.
or even a female, and you're telling them or correcting them, this
Right.
kind of like, well, she just thinks
Yeah.
she better than me. Like,
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
And I think also age plays into it too. I know we're speaking about the gender gap, but I think also we're all, relatively young,
Yeah.
HR professionals, not in the sense that we don't have that experience, because we all have a plenty of experience, but
do.
we're not 55 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes too, and maybe you guys can, account to this, sometimes when people meet me and they're like, "Oh, you're Abby." I'm like, yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
So it's just like this, I think they expect to see the old lady in the pantsuit, and then they see you as like a younger person who that could potentially be their friend outside of work, or if you met in any other situation, you would have,
And that's a real thing too. Like working in HR, and then you're kind of, having to police or, talk to someone that's the same age as you, or, a lot of times
older.
or older,
yeah,
sometimes
absolutely,
that can be a different experience. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
Yeah. Also, though, sometimes we're seen as like scary, and to Tyler's point, like the police, or here comes. I used to get here. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Here comes I used to get the mask police when we had the mask.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because people not wearing their mask.
Exactly.
Put
Yeah,
it on.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
Cover your nose,
Hated it.
please.
So when we walk in those rooms, or walk the halls, or walk to the plant, everybody want to button up now and get
Their safety glasses on.
Just
Like
do
safety
it.
vest.
We don't. And I'm sure I can speak for all of us, we don't want to do that.
Not at all.
We don't want to
No.
tell you the same thing over and over again.
It's elementary.
But you say, where's your vest? Where's this? Where's that? Okay, come to work on time. You was late today. No call, no show.
This is where you are on your points. Well, we need to have that conversation.
Who care? Get the work done. But it's a part of it.
Yeah, it is. It is. And sometimes people need that gentle rearing a little bit. I've also had employees who started and they were quite young, and maybe this is their first job.
Yeah.
And I see them like years down the line and how much they've grown and matured. And it's so great to see.
Yeah.
And that sometimes they do need that little bit of a push. Annoying, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, like, the best policy I have is I really want people to do their job, so I don't have to do mine. You know what I mean? So
right.
I think it comes with the territory, but I mean, like, I think as long as you're fair, I think a lot of times people respect that. You know what I mean? And I'm not a person who, I don't really like doing the whole discipline thing, and but I mean, it's what comes with it. So
Yeah, you have to do it. And that's another big point is so many of the things that we have established are there for a reason.
of course,
Especially when it comes to safety, right? We want you to leave work the same way you came to work.
Yep.
absolutely.
And so if you're not, adhering to those safety standards, it causes huge issues. And it may not cause it today or tomorrow, but even on
Eventually.
the millionth time, there'll be an incident that occurs. So,
I just thought about something. Tyler does payroll, Abby.
oh, do you?
I do.
Do you love it?
Absolutely not. I'm not gonna lie. Payroll might be my least favorite thing that I do at work, and I think it's because like we pay on like a timepiece type of payment thing. So it's just a lot of calculations that you have to do.
I've been there. My current job, we have a payroll department, but I kind of run the reports weekly. But I've worked a job where my previous job, actually, I was responsible for all payroll processing, all bonuses. And we ran 2 different payrolls, one for hourly, one for salary. So it was like keeping up with that. It's a lot.
It is.
I understand where you're coming from.
And anytime there's a problem,
They come straight to
I'm gonna find you. You know what I mean? And it's
And in that same vein, though, as we're talking about men in HR, who would think a male is running payroll? I mean, that's not, it's always a lady or a female, a she who is doing the payroll and you're calling and say, hey, my pay is wrong, then she's answering the phone.
Yeah.
But if you get on a phone call and they're like, hello, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
not the right person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, men, we overall, I think we have a really good advantage though, because there's not a lot of us, especially not a lot of black men. So when we get in those roles, like me, I'm the only black individual on my HR team.
Wow. Okay.
So I shine, as humble as I can say it, right? But it's like I represent us well.
Yeah.
So when we get in those spaces, especially for the men, we have to just perform well, do well, and they see the what's the word I want to use?
Potential.
or why we're here.
I got you.
Because like we know what we're doing.
Yeah. No, you've earned your place in those spaces where you are. There's a reason why you're there. And I think like you were saying with payroll, even though it's been considered like, a woman-centered role, when I think of a person in finance, if I think of like a Wall Street investor, I think of a male.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but finance is finance. When you're dealing with money, you're dealing with money. So it's similar for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess echoing back to what you said, I totally agree with that. Like when you are able to shine and be in those spaces, it can really give you opportunity, but also anybody that comes behind you as well.
Yeah.
So, interesting stuff.
Tyler, what's up, man?
I'm just
So
blessed.
welcome to our podcast.
Glad to be here.
Again, part
Yeah,
2.
right.
No.
We're so happy to have you here.
Sure.
This is a very good conversation, in my opinion, because we don't hear. You know what? Let me say this too. We don't hear from a lot of men. We don't hear from a lot of us.
No.
So
To be honest, I haven't really met outside of you many other men, let alone black men that work in HR.
Yeah.
And usually if they do, it's not really HR. It might be like a subsidy of it, but it's not really, you know what I mean? So it's a rarity to me.
Yeah.
In my
But I
opinion.
have seen in a lot of larger organizations, like when you're talking about directors and VPs, I do see that in a good amount, they are men.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. It's like, of course, they had to start somewhere, right?
You know, I have a theory on that. I think it's because, so in a lot of roles, right, you know, they work their way up to kind of, you know, sort of those VPs, those director roles. Mm-hmm. And I think like once you're at that level, I think some of it is like horizontal movement too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like they may have been, I don't know, the director of, I don't know, accounting or a director of finance at one, you know, company, and then they apply for like this like director of, I don't know, human capital or something. I don't, you know what I mean? So, and I mean, in theory, once I think you're at that level too, it's kind of like
easy to move across.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of like, you know, it may be different things that you're necessarily have your hands on, but it's the same strategic thinking. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I think it is too.
For sure.
Because to that point, and as we close, to that point, a lot of the executives or EVPs are males. Mm-hmm. You don't see a lot of us there, but to that point, let's say there's a director of HR who's a female, but then their leader is the EVP or VP, and they're a male. Mm-hmm. So why isn't it like reversed? Now, in my organization, we have a very diverse executive team. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty good ratio. Right. But from a male perspective, and there's a male EVP, Chief People Officer, in my organization. And but I will say, I've seen a good flux of women becoming Chief People Officers.
Oh, for sure. Like C-suite level, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure. There's definitely a push.
Which is good.
Yeah, I think so too.
But we need some of us in there.
Of course.
Yeah. But Tyra, thanks so much for stopping by.
Yes, it's excellent discussion.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any comments on like, you know, hey, I had a male HR manager, I had a female HR manager. Yeah. What is y'all's experience? We'd love to know. I mean, it's just, you know,
send us an email, send us a DM, voice memo.
Right.
Send us your HR complaints. Mm-hmm. Send us your listeners' questions. We had a really good one the other week, so keep sending them. I got a few more that I need to read. Follow us, subscribe. Go. You're watching or you're listening, go ahead, like, subscribe, leave us a comment, leave us a review. You know, do all the things. Be a great employee, or you're going to get a corrective action.
Right.
You've already kind of established, you know, one, and then terminate it. Anything I'm missing, Abby?
No, I don't think so.
Tyler, you got any last words for our?
No, I do not.
Say, you know, give us something.
Oh, where can we find you? Are you on LinkedIn or anything like that? Anything you'd like to plug?
I am on LinkedIn. My name is Tyler Hill. I'm on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Instagram, I believe. What's my name on there now? Oh, Why They Love Ty.
We can put it in the caption. We're good.
Why They Love Ty. You can follow me on there. Yeah, that's really about it.
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure having you as always. Yeah. But until our next meeting.
Let's have a great week.